Welcome everybody to this webinar. We're going to talk about a very, very interesting subject today, cats and reincarnation. And as I said, when I came in, there's a lot of information I want to come through about this subject. And I will be sharing my screen now in a second. Let's get started. So we are going to talk about cats and reincarnation. It's something that came up, a topic really that came up in the last webinar that I did, and there were a couple of questions around it. So I decided to do a whole class on this subject. And what we'll cover is, of course, how your cat is entwined with your soul path. I will answer the most common questions about cats reincarnating. And then the second half of this class, we will do a meditation and we will tap into your cat, and you will be able to ask your cat or your cats if they've been with you before. So I hope you're excited for that part, to actually tap into your cats and ask. So just real quick up front, for those who don't know me, I'm a cat whisperer. I'm a healer, a channeler, a medium, a starseed, an ascension guide, really all of the above. I do a little bit of everything, but mainly what I do is I work with people and their cats, and I help cat lovers around the world to live a happy, awakened, and purposeful life together with their cats. So I will talk a little bit more about how I get to do what I'm doing now. And Leon, I really hope Leon will settle down. He's kind of throwing me off. I'm sorry about that. So yeah, I'll talk a little bit about my journey later. But first of all, I just want to stress the fact that everything I share, everything I teach, everything I talk about comes directly from the cats. I do not recite from any text cat books or any biological research or any studies that were made by scientists about cats, where they look at a cat and then they kind of deduct, what is the cat probably thinking and meaning. And I talk to the cats. I'm an animal communicator. I talk on all kinds of levels, the cat level, the soul level, and they've shared so many things with me in the past couple of years. And I'm really very honored that I get to pass on their messages. So everything I talk about comes directly. Leon, please, sweetheart. So sorry about that, but that's live. So everything I talk about comes directly from the cats themselves. And that's what I want to share with you. All right, so let's talk a little bit about your cat's soul path or soul paths period. Let's just talk about reincarnation a little bit. So I've done literally thousands of sessions with cats in the past few years, and I talk to them on a soul level, and they share with me their prior lives and their tasks and what they've done before. And I also work with people, of course, and I've also regressed many, many people in sessions into prior lives, and we looked into who they were and why this popped up and what kind of topic came up from their prior lives. And I have found the same connection. I found the connection that their cats or their dogs, they circle with them and they come back in different lifetimes. So first of all, cats do reincarnate just like we do. And actually, I found they reincarnate a little bit faster than we do, which makes sense because the lifespans are shorter, right? So when, let's say, a person, and I don't want to make any sweeping statements, and let's say a person maybe comes back every 100 years or 200 years, just for argument's sake, there really is no fixed amount of time that somebody stays on the other side and then comes back. But let's just say, if an average human comes back every 100 or 200 years, the cats tend to come back much faster, and they tend to come back in our lifetime. So chances are that they will come back in this lifetime and be with us again in this lifetime, or come in the next one, or they were there in an earlier lifetime. So they recycle, let's say recycle, what a bad word. They tend to come back faster like as we do. And many of you are probably here because you might have a suspicion or you might have a feeling that your cat has been with you before. And I have to say that if you have that feeling, then you are most likely probably right. It's all about really intuition. I get into that later. If you have the feeling that you've known this cat forever and you have this really strong soul bond, then chances are that he or she has been with you before. And how you recognize it, we're going to talk about that too. So I would like to talk about the concept of the soul just real quick. Of course, it is a big word, the soul, and it's a big topic. And I do not claim to have the one and only truth about this topic, this subject. I do not claim I know exactly what the soul is and I know exactly how the universe works. I think it's very, be kind of pretentious to claim that we know everything about how the universe works. Obviously, there are many people who talk about soul and reincarnation and journeys and all these things. And again, everything that I share comes from my personal experience and from my work, where I've regressed people to prior lives and I've regressed cats and other animals to prior lives. And that's what I talk about. It's kind of like Dolores Cannon. I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with the work of Dolores Cannon. She also says she's written countless books. She's done all these regressions with people, and she's written many, many books over the years. And she always says she only shares what is being shared with her in her work, what people tell her when they are in the regression state, what people tell her and share about dying and coming back and all these journeys that they do. She shares that with others. She does not claim this is the one and only truth. She just shares what's being shared with her. And that's the same with what I'm talking about. Anything I talk about, of course, but specifically this topic now about reincarnation. What is a soul? What is our journey? What are we here to do? I share from my personal experience, from all the sessions, from all the thousands of conversations, sessions I've had with cats, with people, with tapping into their prior lives, and just with, in accordance, I work with my guides. I work very, very much in accordance with my divine guidance, and I share what they show me. So if you have a different concept of what the soul is or what a soul's journey is, then please just take from this workshop. If it resonates with you, then take the part that resonates. And if something doesn't resonate with you, if you say I had a different experience or I think it's completely different, then, there is no right or wrong here. Just take what resonates with you. And if it doesn't resonate with you, then just take it or leave it and just believe what is right for you. And that's with anything, really. So that being said, yay, he is settling down. Leon is settling down behind me. Yay. All right. Leon, can you help a little bit now, please? He just had to complain a little bit more. All right. So that being said, what I find is the soul is kind of that eternal being that we are. I mean, we don't have a soul. We are a soul. We are an eternal being. And the soul is what's connected with the physical body. So I always say the seat of the soul is here. That's where the silver cord, some say the silver cord is here. I've seen the silver cord here. It doesn't matter. But the soul is the part of us that is connected, that connects our spirit form with the physical body. And the soul is what makes experiences. And the soul is basically what I call our essence and our core. So before we incarnate, and that's the same for animals, of course, cats, dogs, horses, all the animals, everybody has a soul. Everybody is a soul. And before we incarnate, we make soul contracts with people, with animals. We kind of make a plan for our next life. And we have all the people and the animals and all the souls there with us when we make the plan for our next life. And I call it the white room before incarnation. It kind of looks like a white room for me. And that's where we stand as a soul in our soul form, and the people and the animals that we've shared prior lives with, or that we are going to have a new experience with, they come in, we make soul contracts with them. about certain things, that we want to experience certain things, that they're supposed to help us with certain things, and so on. So that's what I mean when I talk about soul contracts. And then we incarnate into the body, and we start a new journey, right? And we kind of forget, and I don't even want to get too far into this, but we kind of forget what was before, so we can make new experiences and really start fresh in this body, in this lifetime. All right, so that being said, a cat soul just goes through the same process. They make soul contracts, they incarnate, they come here with a beautiful purpose, and they come here with certain life topics that they're here to deal with or to resolve from a prior lifetime. And they have soul contracts to fulfill for their own life and with us. And then they live their life, and after they live their life, they cross over just like we do. And it really is, it's way too much to go into this in this one class, but it really is that way, that we cross over, they're being greeted, they go to the light through that portal, they're greeted by their soul family, they're greeted by their loved ones. And then they stay in those other realms for a while, and after a certain period, rest period, they can choose to come back, or they can choose to stay over there. It's really everybody's choice. And that's the same process that we go through. And I know all these things because I've been shown by cats when they cross over what happens. And it's really, it's a very interesting world over there on the other side. So what I want to say up front, what's important to know, that it is always our decision to come back. Nobody gets forced, nobody gets coaxed into it, nobody gets pushed into it. It is always our decision to come back, and it's always our choice to specifically choose that body, that family, those circumstances, and so on. I don't really want to go too far into that because there's a lot of questions behind that. Why would we choose a bad life and everything? Let's just say it is what it is, and let's not question it at this point. So what's important is that a lot of times a cat or a person comes back because they have topics that were not resolved in the last lifetime, or a task that they wanted to do in the last lifetime, either a task of their own or a task with their human or somebody else. And then they come back because they want to fulfill that task, or they want to resolve the issue that they were here and they couldn't resolve before. Or sometimes they just come back because they just want to be with you, because we just want to hang out with our soul buddies, right? So sometimes they just come back for the sheer joy of being with us again. And that's, of course, very beautiful. And also, I also want to say that on the other side, they do purposeful work on the other side. So when a cat crosses over, they still work for you on the other side. And they don't just disappear. They don't just go away. They are always, most of the time, they are really there for you for quite a while, and they help you from the other side. Okay, this is something I didn't even want to include this, but it came through when I prepped the workshop. If you're grieving because you lost a cat, and I'm going to have to look into the chat for this one and just really ask, how many of you are still grieving of a cat or a dog that has passed, and you kind of still beat yourself up over, I should have done something, or if I had just only noticed it, more recent, if I had noticed it earlier, or how many of you are grieving a past cat or dog or horse? You can write in the chat now. Yes. Okay. I think almost everybody has a cat, dog, horse that they lost, and we're still grieving. I mean, even I'm still grieving for my 3 cats that I lost recently, and I know better, right? But we are grieving, and that's okay. And what came through, I just wanted to share that with you because they asked me to share this with you. So see, they always say, when I talk to cats or dogs or anybody on the other side, they always say it was their time to go. They always say, don't be upset, don't feel guilty, because I work with a lot of cat parents, a lot of people who feel guilty because they say, I should have done something, I should have maybe taken them to another vet, I should have had a different procedure done, I should have given the medication earlier. I should have noticed it earlier that my cat was sick. Or I just should have done something, or maybe I shouldn't have put her to sleep. I should have waited. And a lot of people feel very guilty. And the cats always say, and I speak about cats, but I'll talk about dogs, horses, and all the animals as well. So they always say, please tell my human to not feel guilty. It was okay. It was my time to go. They usually say there's nothing you could have done differently. Everything was exactly the way it needed to be. There was nothing you could have done. It was my time to go, and I chose to go. So hopefully that gives some comfort to some of you. It's always the same. I don't think I've ever spoken to a cat who didn't say that. So they always say, please tell my human to stop feeling guilty. Everything was exactly as it needed to be. They also always say I want my human to be happy and to move on. I mean, it's okay to grieve them, obviously, and we need a period of grief, but they always want us to move on afterwards. They always want us to be happy. They want us to bring new cat companions into our lives. They don't want us to sit and be sad for a year or so and say, oh, it's too early, out of respect for so-and-so, I can't bring another cat in, I have to be respectful. No, they want you to have a new cat companion, or two, or many. They don't want you to sit and be upset. They want you to be happy, to move on. And they always say, most of the time they say, remember them the way they were at their best. Don't remember them at the end when they were sick, or when they were dying, or when they were in pain, or when they weren't doing so well. They always say, remember them at their best, at their happiest, their healthiest, their youngest, their funnest. They always say, remember the good times. Don't dwell on the bad times, remember the good times. That's what counts. And many of them also say they were loved. It was so important. The most important thing in their life was that they were loved. They were with you and they were loved. And that's what counts. And anything you think you did maybe wrong, or maybe you think the cat would have had a happier life if I'd moved or let the cat outside or something. No, they say I was loved. And that's the most important thing. That's anything anyone can ever ask for, to be loved. So they want you to know that. And they also usually support you from the other side. To close this one off here now, this subject, they usually support you from the other side, and they send so much love, and they love you forever. And a lot of times they are around you and they support you. So just know that they're always good on the other side. And yeah, just remember them the way they were. And you can ask them to come back, of course, but we'll talk about that later. So how do I know all this? And some of you are familiar with my work, some of you are not. So I just want to tell you a little more about how I do what I do, why I do what I do. And I really have to say, I kind of stumbled into all of this, what I wanted a couple of years ago when I quit my corporate job. I was in a corporate job for 20 years and I liked it. And I was a career woman and everything. But at some point, I just wanted to find and follow my purpose. And it came kind of easy to me when I was starting to look for my purpose. It was in my 40s, classic, the kind of the classic thing. I had a career and I said, now what? And my purpose was kind of clear to me. It kind of popped in instantly. I wanted to work with cats. So I did everything. I studied cat psychology, and I did all these, these classes, and I did all the diplomas and certifications and everything. And I thought I just had to have this big certification thing and everything. It came from here, from my head, and from my mind. My rational mind said, you have to have all these certificates. You're in your 40s. You're starting out new with and everything just has to be by the book. And what I wanted to help people with cat problems. I want to help them, with just the common cat problem stuff, with, get a better litter box, or do a clicker training and play with your cat, and just the common stuff, and how to introduce two cats with each other and everything. I wanted to do the classic cat training psychology thing. And I just found pretty soon it was not for me, because I just had the feeling there was so much more than just tell people where to put the litter box. And there's nothing wrong with that. I love it that there's many cat psychologists out there that are wonderful and that tell people where to put the litter box and how to feed their cats properly and how to train it and how to play with a cat and everything. I just found it was not for me. So what happened was that I started to learn animal communication, and pretty soon there was even more that came in. The cats started to talk to me on a soul level, and this whole big thing came in about they shared that their purpose is to help their humans with their purpose. So they just shared with me that I'm here for my human. I mean, yes, I'm here for myself too, right? Because I want to have a nice life and I want to enjoy my life, but their big purpose is to help us with our purpose. And that's a message that I start to share. So what I want to talk about today, though, I want to tell a little story about my own cat companions. And I'm sharing this personal story with you because it has to do with reincarnation and cats coming back to me. And I just wanted to share with you how exactly it was for me, so that you can find that, oh yeah, that's right, that's the same for me. So I kind of want to inspire you to look into your own cat story and to see if there's any parallels for you. So in my very first animal communication class that I did the basics. I learned how to communicate with cats just on a regular cat level. And then we did this method where I was being taught to connect to animals on the other side, deceased animals. And the way I was taught was you sit down and you sit down under the tree of souls, or the soul tree, and then you're asking your past animals to come in. And I did that and nothing happened. I sat under the tree and nothing happened. I mean, you go into a meditation, obviously you visualize the tree, and I sat there and nothing happened. I said, well, I don't know, maybe I'm not good at this. I don't know. And then what happened was that I saw something flying in from afar, and it looked like a giant Ferris wheel or a merry-go-round. It just came flying in. It was circling. It came from the background somewhere, and then this big merry-go-round came in, this big wheel, Ferris wheel, and it stopped spinning. And all my past animals, all the animals on the other side that I ever had as a kid, my dogs, my cats, my rabbits came, my turtles, all the animals I ever had as a kid, they got out of that Ferris wheel one by one. They got out and they presented themselves to me. They said something, they gave me a message, and then they got back in the wheel, and the next one would come out and the wheel was spinning. So it was kind of a psychedelic experience. They all came out one by one. It was really interesting. And my dog Tasso came out, and he was a dog in my childhood, and I loved that dog. I mean, I was always a cat lady. I loved cats, but Tasso was a special dog, and I just loved him to pieces. And he came out and he said that they were all my friends back then, my companions. They were my teachers. They prepped me for what I was doing now, working with cats professionally. They were training me back then on the job, on my animals. And he told me that he would be coming back to me in this lifetime. And I was, oh my God, he's coming back. But the interesting thing was that he wasn't standing in front of me like a dog. He was in his soul form, and he was in a cat form. So I said, oh my God, Tasso was really a cat. He was not a dog. He sat in his soul form, was a cat, and he kind of looked like a lion, actually. He was in a lion-like cat form, but it was him. And I said, oh my God, that's so funny, or that's so interesting, because when Tasso was with us back then, we were joking that he was really a cat and not a dog. And he was this big shepherd dog, so he was a large dog. It was a big German shepherd. But he behaved like a cat a lot of times. He would clean himself like a cat. It was really funny. I mean, dogs clean themselves too, but you know how cats, how clean they are, and they groom themselves all the time. And Tasso was cleaning himself like a cat. He would spend an hour cleaning himself several times a day, and he would clean himself. He would take his paw and and lick the paw, and then clean his face with the paw and everything. And he cleaned himself like a cat. And we were joking a lot of times back then, this dog is a cat. It's kind of weird. And he would jump the fence and go outside like the cats. which is also unusual for a dog because dogs are usually good and they stay in the yard, right? But he saw the cats jumping out and he jumped too. He would just several times a day, he would jump over the fence, and no matter how high we made the fence, he would climb the fence like a cat. And he would jump out and do his walk and come back, right? Just like the cats. So a lot of times we said, he must be a cat or something. He's this weird dog. I mean, weird as in he was a lovely dog, but he behaved like a cat. And I didn't know any of this back then, right? And now, years and years, 40 years later, he was standing in front of me and he showed me he was a cat. And he said he had to come to me as a dog at the time because my mom was allergic to cats. And he could have not stayed with us had he been a cat. So he had to come in a dog form to be with me, to be with us, right? It makes sense. So there's your first question answered. Species crossovers, yes, it happens. And yes, so he was a cat in a dog form. And he said he would come back to me, yeah, later. Soon, he actually said. All right, so he got back on the Ferris wheel. And then I was calling my first cat, her name was Barely, and I called her and I said, this is so weird. All the animals that I had back then, they all came out. Even my rabbits and my turtles came and said something, but my first cat, Barely, who I loved very dearly, she hadn't shown up. She didn't come out of that Ferris wheel. And I said, what's going on? Where is she? Where is she? And I was calling her. And then I saw her emerge from the shadows. She came from somewhere else and she emerged from the shadows and she came clearer and clearer into my view. And then she came into the light and I saw her that she was Lisa, my cat Lisa. She had come back. She was already with me. She couldn't come out of that Ferris wheel of the souls on the other side because she was with me in a physical body at the time when she was my cat Lisa. So she had come back to me. And I was crying at that point. I was bawling my eyes out. And Lisa told me, or Lisa barely showed me, she'd been journeying with me. She'd been with me many, many times. And she was just so connected with me. That was already the third time she was with me in this lifetime. So I was crying and everything. And I came back into the classroom and I was crying and everything. And they said, oh my God. And I said, it was just so beautiful to connect with my deceased cats and dogs. So just to show you, they even looked alike. That's my cat Barely. I called her Barely at the time because she looked like a bear. She had this tri-color tortilla hair, and that's a picture from the 70s, so it's a bad picture. And this was Lisa, and they even looked alike. I mean, yeah, different shape and everything, but they had the same bear type look and the same color. So just they can look alike. When they come back, they can look alike, just so that you recognize it more easily, or that they're more, more of themselves. And Lisa and Barely, they had a lot of character traits in common. So there you go. That's what can happen. So what happened the years after? I worked with my client cats, and many cats came in from, from beyond, from the other side. And I just discovered that there's just this whole world out there. It's not confined to this world here. There is no space, there is no time, there's different dimensions, and we can cross these dimensions, and everybody on the other side is very much alive. They're not dead, they're alive. They're doing stuff. They're themselves. They're just in a different form. And we can see them. I mean, we can if we tap in, we will tap in later. We can see them, we can talk to them. They're around us, they do stuff for us. So everything was just confirmed. And I worked with a lot of people and a lot of cats that are on the other side. And that's everything that I'm going to share with you later is derived from that. So to finish my story here, 5 years later, I've been looking for Tasso, right? My dog Tasso. In those 5 years, I kept looking and I kept seeing him as, he's probably going to look like a lion or something. He's going to be a cat. He's going to be brown. He's going to be sandy color. He's going to look like an Abyssinian cat. I kind of looked for an Abyssinian cat because I kind of pictured him to be the sandy color. And I was thinking about what name am I going to give him? I decided I call him Leo, because he looks like a lion, so his name is going to be Leo when he comes back. And he wouldn't come back. So I was a little disappointed about that. But what happened then? My beloved Lisa, she crossed over 2 years ago in my arms. And whole different story. But she crossed over, and soon after she crossed over, she told me, she pointed me to that little kitten in Spain. Her name was Sheila. And Lisa just kept pointing me to that kitten. And I said, Lisa, what is it? And she just said, I have to get this kitten. I have to bring this kitten in. And I said, Lisa, is that you in a different form? And she said, no, but I had to get this kitten. And at the time, I was not looking at a kitten, right? I mean, I did not want any more cats. I already had 2 cats. They were older. They were Lisa's companions. They were older. They weren't doing so well anymore health-wise. I did not want to bring a kitten in, and I was about to move. So that was just the furthest from my mind. But Lisa, and I'm telling you this so that you follow your intuition, because I followed my intuition. And I gave in. I said, fine, Lisa's adamant, I need to bring this kitten in. So against all, all common sense, against all odds, I said, fine, I'm going to adopt this kitten. And I started the adoption process. She was at a rescue station of my friend in Spain. And I started the adoption process with Sheila. And then Sheila said, I'm not going without my brother. So I said, oh, great. Of course, I asked cats right before I adopt a cat. I asked her, and she said, I'm coming. I'd love to come, but I'm bringing my brother. I'm not going anywhere without my brother. And I said, oh my God, I can't have 2 kittens. I don't want to have 4 cats. It's too much. I don't have the space in this place. I was living in a temp situation. I'm going to move. I cannot bring a male kitten in because of my other males. And that really threw me off very much. But Sheila said, I have to bring Leon. I'm not coming without Leon. So I said, fine. And it made no sense. I did not want 4 cats. I said, oh my God, my mom lives next door. What if they sneak in? She's got a cat allergy. 3 cats are already a lot. But they were adamant Leon had to come. I talked to Leon. He said, I'm coming. And he was just so matter of fact, oh, I'm coming. So I said, fine. All right, and I'm telling you this because I'm saying trust your intuition. Against all odds, I adopted 2 kittens, which was better anyway, because I teach people always get 2 kittens. So I followed my own advice. I brought the 2 kittens in. And then little Leon arrived. They both arrived. And Leon just snuck right into my heart. And I had not expected that, because I thought Sheila was going to be my cat, right? And Leon was just kind of a bystander. But Leon, just within 3 days, I was so in love with this little guy. And I couldn't believe it. I said, what is it about Leon? He was just so, he just snuck into my heart. And what happened was that he kept snucking into my mom's house next door. He wasn't supposed to, but he kind of snuck in. And then I went to get him, and he would throw himself in that corner, and he was rolling around that one corner as though it was an empty corner, and he was rolling around that corner like there's no tomorrow. And it wasn't even an interesting corner for a cat to go into, because there were more interesting things in the house. But he threw himself in the corner until I picked him up and got him out. And then after a while, I said, Mom, isn't that the corner that Tasso was always lying in when Tasso was here? And she said, oh, yeah, that's where Tasso was always lying. And before I knew it, Leon was Tasso. And I recognized, because he threw himself in that corner. And after a while, I said, this is so weird. Why is this little kitten rolling around the corner? He wanted to show me his Tasso. And I said, oh my God, his name is Leon. And I always said, when Tasso comes back, I'll call him Leo. And his name was Leon. Somebody else named him, but this little cat Leon, he found his way back to me. And I'm telling you this because not everyone knows how to do animal communication. And I didn't understand, why did they make it so complicated? I mean, I'm so connected, and I talk to everybody, and I talk to my guides, and I talk to Sheila and Leon. Why didn't they just say Leon is Tasso? It's so much easier. But I think, and I was thinking about that as I put this here together, and that's why I'm sharing this story. I think it's so that I could share the story with the world and with you, to look out for the signs, look out, because, it would have been just so easy, but no, I had to go through this process. And I think it's because I can share this process now with all of you. You don't have to know animal communication. I mean, it's great if you do, and have classes for animal communication if you want to learn it. I highly recommend it. But not everybody does it. So if you see those signs, if your cat comes in and you could have sworn that it has the personalities of your prior cat, or your cat goes into the corner and rolls around, they're showing you, hey, I am so-and-so. I'm your prior cat, and the cat would always lie here. So look out for those signs and trust your intuition. If a cat or a dog insists, or a horse, they have to be with you. If a cat sits out, camps by your doorstep and won't leave, that cat needs to be with you, because they know it before we do. So I hope this inspired you to look out for these signs. And I would like to look into the chat real quick. Is there anybody who says, who had an aha, said, oh my God, yes? Oh. Maybe you want to type real quick, and I'm throwing you back in the chat now. But I do hope, my cat Charlie, it's a twin of our families. Exactly. So I'm pretty sure that many of you probably had instances like this where they say, oh my God, my cat behaves like so-and-so. My God, my dog behaves like a cat, or the other way around. Dora says we have a reincarnated cat. I think the cat's pretty slow right now, but that's okay. All right. Loves being with my mom, knows the house. Yes, exactly, because he's been in that house before. Absolutely. Being rescue. Exactly. From the moment I saw this tuxedo, I felt like I knew her. My near-death experience are very open. All right. Great. Okay, many similar experiences. All right. So yes, so I talked about this at length now. But I just wanted to show you that, oh yeah, by the way, they don't need to look alike. This was Tasso, this was my dog at the time, big shepherd, and that's Leon. So they do not look alike. I tried to find a pose where they both sit alike. They do not like, they can look alike, but they don't need to. They can look completely different, but you'll know, when you know, you know. And Leon has many character traits of Tasso. He's this outgoing, spunky, lovable little character that everybody loves. So to close this chapter off now, I want to say in finishing this up is, don't go looking for them. They will find you. If a cat or a dog, he's purring. That's so sweet. Leon he's sitting up there on his scratch post next to me, and he just started purring that very second where I said they will find you. Confirmation. So yeah, don't really go looking for them. I went out looking for Tasso. I didn't find him, but he found me. He was adamant. Lisa pointed to Sheila. Sheila said, Leon needs to come. Leon said, I'm coming. He was there. Da-da. So they will find you. But trust your intuition with anything. As I said, it was complete against everything that, you know, but I needed to have them, and they found me. So trust your intuition. All right, let's go into the common questions. I found with my clients over the last 2-3 years, a lot of cats and dogs passed away in the last couple of years. I don't know whether you noticed, whether you had that in your immediate environment. Many cats, more than usual, seemed to die. And they asked me why, or I asked, why do so many cats leave this plane, as in leave their body? So the thing is, cats are ascending just like we do. They're going through the same awakening ascension process like we do. And they're evolving, and their souls are huge. Some cats, they have such huge souls that they say, I can really sustain my soul in this small body, because they're confined to a small body, and their souls sometimes are huge on the other side, and their bodies are just plainly getting too small, or their bodies are getting too old, and they cannot sustain their soul growth anymore. And they show me on the other side, they are bigger. They are just free. They're not confined to the body, and they can help us better from the other side. So these entire last, let's say 2-3 years, the COVID years, the Corona years, we've gone through a lot of turmoil, we as in humanity, but also a lot of growth and a lot of change. And our cats are helping us with that. And some of us were going through so much change that our cats in their small bodies, they couldn't help us, so they would cross over to the other side, because that's when they can hold the energies around us, and they are part of our spirit team. A lot of times they guide us from the other side with us out without us knowing, or they are just guarding us, or they're holding our energy from the other side. So a lot of them said we can do that better on the other side because we're bigger. And oops, I'm going backwards. I want to go backwards. All right. So some choose to stay over there because they say, for a while I have to be over here because I can help you better. And some just plainly say that their bodies are too old. In case of Lisa, she was 17 years old, and her body just couldn't sustain that anymore. And they kind of showing it to me, and forgive me if I get technical here, but my guides are kind of showing me it's like outdated hardware. You know, if you have an old computer or an old iPhone and you want to load the newest software, you want to load the latest iOS or the latest Windows version on it, it won't run in an old computer, right? If your computer is 10 years old, 20 years old, it will not run the latest Windows. It's not made for that. It's too old. And that Windows is too fast or takes up too much memory. And it's the same with the body, especially with, it seems to be special with animal bodies, maybe because they're made to not be as, you know, as all get as old as we do. I mean, our bodies are made for a lifespan of 100+ years, but they are made for a shorter lifespan. So they say they have to come back in a fresh and a new body, because their old body just cannot sustain that growth soul, that evolving of the soul that they're going through, and they just can't do that in their old body. So they have to cross over, leave that body behind, and then they come back in a fresh and young and new body. So that's the reason why a lot of cats are leaving us these days. And I know it's hard, and I know we're grieving, but these are the reasons. So I hope that was helpful. So now the big question, of course, how and why do cats come back to us? So as I've already said before, our souls are entwined with our cat souls, and sometimes they journey with us throughout the ages. And what they do is, in this life and in a prior life, they help us carry life topics. They help us carry, I don't know, stuff such as a lot of in the dark ages. A lot of us were you know, born in the dark ages, and we were persecuted. A lot of us women, let's say, we were persecuted as witches, as because we were too strong, too powerful, too smart. And we have that topic of being persecuted, not showing ourselves. We don't dare to show ourselves because in the prior life we were persecuted for showing ourselves, right? For showing that we can heal, for showing that we know stuff. We got persecuted, we got killed. And a lot of healers, I find, because I work with a lot of healers and energy workers, and a lot of healers and energy workers are carrying that topic, that I can show myself. Oh my God, I can't do this. And they don't dare to go out with their work for fear that they're being ridiculed. But a lot of times it's a topic that they're bringing from prior life, because they didn't just get ridiculed back then, they got persecuted, they got killed, or worse, or, you know, whatever. So a lot of us carry that topic. Let's just, you know, Lyran's getting up. So they come back to help us resolve that. As I said before, cats have soul contracts with us, and some of them say they come back because they couldn't fulfill their task or their purpose from a prior life. They couldn't fulfill that. Maybe they were supposed to be our companions. Maybe they're supposed to help us with something, and they got, you know, killed earlier, or whatever. They died earlier, or we haven't let go of the topic. Then they come back and they help us resolve it this time. It's really all about resolving stuff. This lifetime, the times we live in here right now, I get told that time and time again by my guidance, by divine, by whoever I work with. They always say, this lifetime, it's like a sale. It's like a, you know, a winter sale. Everything must go. All the stuff we brought, all the karma, all the topics, all the dark stuff, all the burdens we brought from prior lifetimes. This is the lifetime to resolve it. everything must go. They kind of always say it's like a sale. I find that funny. Guides can actually be very funny. They always say it's a sale, everything must go. So everything needs to be resolved in this lifetime. Yeah. So I've already said that. Yeah, they just come back to bring everything to fruition and to help us with the sale. Everything must go. All right, so that was helpful. On the topic of karma, do cats have or carry karma? Yes, they can come with their own karma, or they help us with ours. And I don't even want to go into the topic of karma. There's lineage karma, there's soul karma, and let's just go back to what we just said. A life topic. Karma is really something, it's really not that different from, it's just a life topic that runs in your family either, or it runs in your own journey, in your soul's journey. You brought this topic with you many times, and it will stay with you until you resolve it. And it can be a topic such as not showing yourself, stuff like that. Let's just leave it at that, because otherwise I'll be here talking about karma for the next hour. Karma with animals, I want to touch on that real quick. A lot of people I find that I work with, they have karma with animals from a prior lifetime. So if animals got harmed with you or by you, or in your, in being there with you in a prior lifetime, we carry that trauma and we feel guilty and responsible, and we bring it back into this lifetime. So if you have a lot of bad experiences with cats or dogs or horses, or if you have all these cats and dogs and horses getting sick on you, it's probably because you carry karma. And just an example, I have a client who got regressed many times, and she said she had a life where she was a knight, and one of those, I don't know, Knight Templar or something, and she did a lot of looting and killing, and as a knight, you did looting and killing and everything and all these terrible things. And she was riding horses. Leon, please, sweetheart, he wants to go back out. I'm sorry if you hear him cry in the background. He wants to go back out. And we were also, a lot of horses got killed, right, with knights and their crusades and whatever. A lot of horses got killed, or it wasn't really nice for the horses. And she had karma. And one of her cats that was actually always sick, always ill all the time, it turned out he was a horse in that lifetime. And she had killed that horse through, riding it too hard or something. And he came back and he helped her work through that karma that she had as a knight, killing people, killing animals, killing horses, and probably all kinds of other animals and people. So he was helping work through that karma. And yeah, so we worked on that for quite a while, and we got most of it resolved. Not everything can always go right away, but if you work on your karma or karmic imprints or karmic topics, it is really worth it. All right, so that's karma with animals, or also a lot of, I brought karma with animals because I was a healer and branded as a witch and everything in many, many lifetimes in the dark ages. And I had cats, right? Because a lot of cats were living with healers and women like us. And some cats were killed with me. So I brought karma, and I actually brought a cat allergy in this lifetime. Believe it or not, I'm a cat whisperer. I dedicated my life to cats, but I have a cat allergy, or I had a cat allergy. I worked through it and I released that karma. So a lot of us have that. And it's worth looking into and releasing. Leon, please. My sweet Leon. And to round this topic off, or to conclude this, cats can have karma as well. Black cats, for instance, they usually carry the trauma of abuse, of superstition, of persecution, of being killed, of being tortured, because black cats are, we don't want to go into this, but black cats carry that imprint, that karmic imprint, most of them actually that I work with. So that's one of the first things I do when I work with black cats. I help them release that karmic imprint that they have. So that's very interesting. All right, moving on. Species crossover. Well, we already talked about that. Yes. Generally, and again, I don't claim to have the one and only truth about this. but I just share what I have seen in literally thousands of sessions with cats and dogs and horses, mainly cats, but also other animals. And I have generally found that a cat soul is a cat soul, a dog soul is a dog soul, a horse soul is a horse soul, and so on. And a human soul is a human soul. That being said, so they have that imprint of a certain animal, as far as I've experienced it. But there is a crossover, as I said. I see crossovers between dogs and cats. Now you spoke about that. When we needed a dog by our side, and for some reason we couldn't have a cat, so the cat came as a dog, and vice versa, the other way around. So there is quite some crossover between cats and dogs. Interestingly, I see more crossover between cats and horses than I see between cats and dogs. I find that very interesting. There is a special connection between cats and horses. There's something that they resonate at a very similar frequency, different but similar. And also, of course, because in the past, when I go into past lifetimes, horses were very, very close with us humans, obviously, even closer than dogs at times, because horses were our means of transportation. They were our cars, basically. So we had horses because we needed them. We needed them for transportation. So we have a very close bond with horses, or we had a very close relationship with horses in the past thousands of years. And maybe that's the reason, I guess that's the reason why a lot of cats were horses, because we had more horses than dogs in those times. I mean, we didn't always have a dog, but we had a horse because we need to go places. So a lot of cat souls, we didn't always have cats, right? Because we didn't really need a cat unless we needed somebody for company or for catching the mice, pest control in our homes. But we always had a horse, or a lot of them. A lot of us had a horse. So when the cats wanted to come back to us in a different lifetime, a lot of times they incarnated into a horse, because then they could be with us and they could help us in our daily life. It makes sense, right? All right. So I hope this was helpful. Oh yeah, and just to conclude this, I've seen sometimes cats having been bigger cats, such as cheetahs or panthers. And I typically see that when I tap into ancient lifetimes. Excuse me, such as ancient Egypt or Lemuria or Atlantis. Yes, those places existed. A lot of you have been in Lemuria and Atlantis. And I see our cats back then as a cheetah or a panther by our side, because back then we lived with, or some of us lived with, the bigger cats. So that happens too, that species crossovers. All right. So concluding this and moving on, if you have any questions about that, there will be a Q&A later. I know we're already at the hour mark, but there will be Q&A later today, and you can ask questions about this if you have any. So moving in, this question is very much related. Were you a cat in a former lifetime? I hear a lot of people say, oh, I must have been a cat in a former lifetime. I must say no. And again, I do not claim that I have the one and only truth on this subject. Obviously, it's a huge subject, souls and, who are we and what are we? I just have not experienced it in those thousands of sessions, I have to say, with cats and dogs and people. And I have not seen a cat being a human or a human being a cat. As far as I know, a cat is a cat is a cat is a cat. There is some crossover between the animals, but a cat is a cat. And a human is a human. So I have not seen any of that, and I cannot confirm the belief. I know there is, and I don't want to tread on anybody's belief here, and I don't want to tread on anybody's experience. If you had a different experience, and you're welcome to share, and I'm not taking that from you, just take it or leave it. I mean, I'm sharing from my experience. So I cannot verify that belief, that the school of that teaching that a soul progresses. There's a lot of teachings out there, including Dolores Cannon, by the way, or I think shamanism and others, that first the soul is a rock or mineral, then an ant, then a larger animal, and eventually when we've grown enough, then we become a human soul. I cannot confirm that. I have not experienced it that way. As far as I experience it, human souls go back millennia and even further. I mean, eons, we go back eons in our human soul form. That's how I experience it. And I'm just sharing it with you. And, you know, if it doesn't resonate with you, you are welcome. You know, everybody is welcome to experience and to believe what they believe. So, you know, I'm just sharing it as I experience it. A human soul is usually a human soul. So that being said, if you do any kind of, you know, energy work and you recognize or see a human soul in a cat or in a dog or something, it might be, and that happened to me once, where I worked with a cat. I went on a soul level and I said, oh my God, there's a human looking at me. And I was shocked. I said, wow, that's the first time for everything, right? So wow, maybe it is true. But it turned out that it was a walk-in. It was a human soul that walked in. Literally, the human soul projected themselves into the cat just for a moment, because I was speaking to the cat and that person wanted to give a message to me, or the person had something to say. And then they kind of projected into the cat for a while, for a moment, until I did the session, and then they jumped back out. So if you or somebody else says, I see a, you know, a cat or so a human soul in a cat, then it could be a walk-in. As I said, I mean, I'm always saying there's nothing that doesn't exist, but that's how I experience it. It might be a walk-in, or it might be a soul fragment that they carry of a beloved human. So that's how I experience it. And however, and that's the last point I want to make here before we go into the procedure, the little process that we're doing. However, if you say, but I still think I was a cat, I have this connection, I feel like I'm a cat or something. Yeah, you may be a feline humanoid. There are many, many species, and this is really a point. I'm going to make a whole big webinar about this. The universe is teeming with life. We are not the only ones in the universe. It would be kind of funny, right? The universe is huge. There's all these planets and stars and star systems and galaxies out there. Why should we be the only ones in this whole wide universe? It doesn't make any sense. So the truth is, the universe is teeming with life. There are many, many races, star families, beings, whatever you want to call them, out there on different planets and different galaxies, different parts of the universe. And we were seeded here from the stars. We are actually one of them. We were seeded. We were planted here. And many star families gave their DNA to make us. And many of those star families, the star races out there, are kind of they're humanoid, but they have feline traits. So they kind of have cat, have human. And there's many out there. Some are more cat-like, and some are more humanoid. And if you feel that you must have been a cat because you have this inexplicable, and if this resonates with you, by the way, if you feel, oh my God, this feels so true, then you are a feline humanoid starseed, and you come directly from somewhere else, and you are a feline humanoid or a humanoid feline. So if you say I was a cat in a former life, that's probably what it is. And this brings me to my last point, my last question before we go into the process. Are cats also starseeds? Do they come from somewhere else? And I say yes. Many cats are, many cats are from here. They're earth souls, earth cat souls. Like there's many people who are here, born, originated here on earth. They're earth souls. And then there are those of us who come from other planets. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with the concept of a starseed. Just a little explanation. A starseed is somebody who was seeded here from the stars. It's a soul that originated on a different planet, in a different star system. A lot of us come from Lyra, from Sirius, from the Pleiades. These are the most common ones that people talk about. There, of course, you can come from anywhere, and there's many, many more civilizations out there, but these are the most common ones that people say they come from, or that I find people come from. And our soul comes from, and I said ours because I'm a starseed. I'm from Lyra. I'm a feline starseed, actually. Who'd have thought, right? It resonated so deeply with me when I feline star. Oh my God, that's me. And I've been to all these places. I astral traveled to all these places for myself and for my clients. We travel there together. Leon, please, can you be quiet So a starseed is somebody whose soul does not come from here. They come from somewhere else. They incarnated on Earth in a human body to help with this process right now, to help humanity awaken. And you may have just, this may be your first lifetime here, and you're all fresh and you feel fresh. Or you feel, oh my God, I've been here forever. I've been here many, many, many decades and millennium. And all of it may be true. So if you are a starseed, if you feel, I don't know if that resonates with you, if many of you say, oh my God, many of you may say, yes, I know. And many of you may say, oh my God, I don't really. And sweetheart, come on, sweetie, come on, please. And you are a starseed if you've always felt different. Most people I work with say, I've always felt different as a kid, I just didn't fit in. Or if you feel drawn to the stars, if you always look out there under the starry sky, wondering what's out there. If you like science fiction, like Star Trek, or I mean, really science fiction, the Star Trek, where they, travel to places and stuff. Or if you feel like you're just not at home here, you just don't know where you belong because you don't feel you fit anywhere here, you're different, then you're a starseed. And yeah, it's a good thing, because now you know, right? And now you know why you didn't fit in. But the thing is, you have a very, very important mission here, and that's why you're here. And I would love to do a whole webinar on this topic. So if this resonates with you, then come back for that webinar. I'll probably do that in the next month or so. So that was a little excursion, but we're going back to, because we're talking about souls and incarnating and why we're here. Also, your cat can also be a starseed. Many cats are from Lyra, from Sirius, from the Pleiades. And they know, and they're here. And if they push you with weird behavior, with alarming behavior, with any kind of just intensified behavior, they're trying to wake you up. They're trying to wake you up because most likely they're a starseed, you're a starseed. And I have so many clients in the last couple of years during this whole COVID thing. So many clients came to me, they say, my cat is just acting up and weird, and what is it? And the cats told me, my human needs to wake up. My human is a starseed, my human has a mission, my human doesn't know, she needs to know, she needs to wake up and get in contact with her star families, with the Pleiadians, with the Sirians, with the Lyrans. She needs to get her mission and wake up. So if this resonates with you, please let me know in the chat real quick. And then we're going on to the next sector. So if this resonates with you, I would like to know. Starseed webinar. Simba has facial markings like a cheetah. Absolutely. Yes. All right. I know the chat always has a delay, and by the time I see it, I'm already moving on. I'd love a webinar about this. Very much resonates. Absolutely. All right. Good. We'll definitely do a webinar on that. All right. So let's go into the little process, and let's look into what is your cat trying to show you. All right. So we're going to ask your cat. What we're going to do is we go into a guided meditation. You don't have to do anything, but just listen to me and follow my voice and just relax. We want to get you out of your head and into your heart. So we're going to do some breathing exercises. When we're in the meditation and in a theta state, we will call your cat, and you will feel how your cat comes in. And for the purpose, or your dog, your horse, you can call whoever. And for the purpose of this meditation, I would suggest that you call one cat, not all of them, just one. One cat, one dog, one horse, whoever you feel strongest that you want to work with, or who you feel who might have been with you before. So let's just take one, and you can always come back. You will get a replay. You can always do this again later, the next couple of days, with any of the other cats and dogs. But for the purpose of this meditation now, let's just call one. And you can think of, the one that you want to call. You probably already know. If you do not have a cat or dog or anybody in a living, an incarnation right now, of course, you can also call your cat that has crossed over. or your dog on the other side. It's the same process, really. You just call them in and they will come in. I'm pretty sure they will come in. And it's much easier now. You don't have to go to a Ferris wheel or anything. The veils between the worlds are getting thinner and thinner. And that is why it's so easy now for everybody, even if you've never done this before, even if you've never tapped into the other realms before, or you've never spoken to your cat before that way. It's so easy because the veils are getting thinner. And especially the animals or even loved ones, people on the other side, it's so easy now to get in contact with them because the veils are super thin. They're just right there. They just, I mean, they're right here, right? There's just this thin veil between us. And I can feel all the cats coming in. Oh my God. Can you feel all these beautiful souls coming in from the other side now? I can feel cats coming in, horses, dogs, yours, and from the other side. We're just being, everybody's coming in now for the purpose of this. It's beautiful. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask, we're going to do this very intuitively. When we're in the meditation, I usually just go by intuition. We're going to ask whether your cat, dog has been with you before and what they want you to know. All right. So just a little guidelines, be relaxed and open. There is no right or wrong here. There is just be open. Don't force anything. Whatever comes, comes. And if nothing comes, then, you know, then you had a nice meditation and you can always try this again. So you will get the answers in, you may hear answers. You may see your cat coming in visually. You may just see a blur or just light or just sense them coming in. There is no right or wrong. Some people are very visual. They see their cats coming in when they speak with them. And others, they just kind of sense their presence, or they just feel the soul coming in, or the personality, or they don't see or feel anything, but they just know the answer all of a sudden. It's all of a sudden the answer is here, like a thought. I mean, I don't know how they got in there. It's your answer. You just know sometimes. Or you just see images. Maybe you don't hear anything. Some people are not auditive. They don't hear anything, but they get shown pictures and they get their message through pictures. So just be open. It's different for everyone and it's different every time. And just be relaxed, and your first impulse is usually right. So if you get a word right away, if I say, okay, now call your cat, and you get a word or an emotion, and it comes so fast that you say, it couldn't have been it, right? That was it. Your first impulse is always right before you start to go into your thinking mind again. We don't want that. So trust your intuition, trust your impulses, be open, be relaxed. If you don't get anything, oh well, then you had a nice meditation. You can do this again. But I'm pretty sure that most of you will get something. And I would like to guide you into this process now. Close your eyes and put your feet firmly on the ground for the purpose of this meditation, because we're going to ground and open and center and all that good stuff. So close your eyes and just take 2 or 3 deep breaths to start with, and breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, and in through your nose and out through your mouth. When you can breathe loudly, just let everything go that you don't need. One more time, in through the nose and out through the mouth. All right, and now just keep breathing in your normal rhythm, however you want to breathe. And now imagine you're breathing into the earth, through the soles of your feet into the earth. With every breath you take, you connect with Mother Earth or Mother Gaia. And feel the connection with Gaia, Earth, strengthening. She's a living, breathing being like you and me, just bigger. And she says we're all her children, and she's helping us connect. You might see, feel, or sense the light in the core of the earth. It's Mother Earth is soul and her light. And now let this light come in through your feet into your body. It's a bright white light. And let the light travel through your legs, into your torso, through your heart area, And up through your throat and up into the head and out on the top of your head. And let the beam of light go up, up, up. And now let's breathe up into the universe, into the sky. Let's open up to all that is, to divine, God, source, love, whatever you want to call it, the higher power of your understanding. And see, feel, or sense the light up there. The divine light, the golden white light. And now call that light down, let that golden divine light travel and come in through your crown chakra, through the top of your head. And let that golden light flood through your head and open up your third eye. Between your eyebrows, it's your intuition, your third eye, your brow chakra. And let that golden light just flood out any blockages that you may have, any fear that you might have sitting in there. There's a lot of fear and blockages in there I can feel in this group. And just let the golden divine light just flood all of that out. And open it just the way you want it to open. Everything is up to you. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. If there's something that you don't want to say, no, thank you, and pass on that part. Or say, yes, please open up my third eye. Oh, there's a lot of opening going on now. All right, now let the golden light flow further down. Let it flood your throat chakra. And flood your throat chakra and flush everything out, everything you're holding back, everywhere where you don't speak your truth, everything where you are not connected to your guidance, to yourself, to the universe, to the universal flow. Everywhere where you're not communicating properly or have blockages in communicating, you can let all that go right now. You can say yes, please, or no, thank you. And let the light flush it out. Oh, there's a lot of opening now. So let's do the same. Let the light flood your heart chakra, and the same procedure. Everything that you have in your heart chakra that you want to let go, everywhere where you're holding back, where you're not showing your true self, where you have a heart wall from a prior life, where you have karmic or dharmic residue, anything that you're carrying that we were talking about, anything can go. I hear this is now divinely guided by my guides, by your guides, by divine, by source. Everything, anything that you want to let go, if anything resonated with you about a topic you're carrying, a karma that you're carrying, you can let it go right now. You say, please, thank you, or no, thank you. It's melting now. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Just let it go. You don't need it anymore. Everything must go. Big flash sale. Everything must go today. All right, there's a lot of relaxation going on right now. Let's do the same. Let's have the light flood your arms down, open up your hand chakras. And your hands are now flooded with golden light, and everything can go, everything where you're holding back, where you're not doing your best work, where you're not being creative, where you're not doing your healings, where you're not doing your magic, your energy work, where you're not doing what you want to do in life. Everything is just flooding your hands now, and just let all of that go. Let that divine light flood your hands, and you can open yourself up now. Now you're ready. You can do what you want to do with your hands in this lifetime. Take a deep breath. It's a lot of time. I did not want to do this, but I mean, this is just coming in now. This is coming in specifically for this group and for anybody who listens to replay. If you listen to this in the replay, this is for you as well. This is just coming through now. This wants to come through. This needs to be done right now. All right, let the light flood further down your solar plexus, and everything that sits in your solar plexus can go now. Let everything flush and flood out. Any topic, any karma, anything that you brought, anything you want to get rid of, anything you want to let go, can go now. Please and thank you, and it is done. Flooding further down, imagine the light flooding your sacral chakra, in your abdomen, in your root chakra as well. We're doing these together, the sacral and the root chakra. Everything, anything that you brought, everything, anything that you're holding there, harboring there, any topic, any karma, anything from any prior lifetimes, anything you want to let go, you can let that go now, please and thank you. And so be it, and it is done. And your cats and your dogs, they're applauding, they're clapping, they are so happy you're letting your stuff go. And everything, all the clearing we're doing now, I'm inviting all the cats and the dogs, deceased or in incarnation, horses, anybody who's, there's rabbits that are coming in, pet rabbits. You can let all of this go, please and thank you. And I'm sending this entire healing and work that we do now to all of your cats and dogs and all the soul contracts that they're holding with you around that specific topic that you're letting go now. You can let all of those go, only if you want to. You can always say no, thank you, and you can say yes, please. And your animals are letting it go. Perfect. Now they're going, oh, this feels good. I don't know. So some of you might feel it, that your cat dog is with you and they're letting it go and they're saying, oh my God, this feels really good. All right. So let's move on and let the light flood your legs and your thighs and your knees and go to your feet and all the topics you carry around your feet, as in you can't find your path, you're stumbling on your path, you're not on your path, you're afraid you may not be on your path, you're afraid you may never find your path, you are afraid you may be on the wrong path. You can let all of this go, karmic, imprint, other topic, whatever it is, we're letting it go now. Everything must go, please and thank you. And so it is. And again, and this goes for all your animals as well. Okay. Oh, that was a big clearing there. Wow. Okay. So now take a deep breath and feel how you're well connected now to below, to Mother Earth. And you're well connected to above, to divine, to God, source, love, to your higher self. And now take a hand and put it lightly, slightly on your chest area, connect to your heart area, to your soul, where the seat of your soul is, connect to your soul self. Ask your soul self, is there anything else that needs to be shared or done? Maybe there's a message coming through. Whatever your soul self says to let go now, you can let that go now, please and thank you, and it is done. And now let the light flood your entire aura, your entire energy field. Let the golden light flood it and let everything flush out. That everything can go now in your aura that you're holding in all of your emotional bodies or mental bodies and all your auric bodies. Everything, anything you want to let go can go now, please and thank you, and it is done. Wow, big clearing. So now it's calling your guides. They're already there, but call them in and just for a moment feel into your guides, and you may see them or you may feel them around you like a shield, like a circle. Just for a moment feel into your guidance, into your spirit guides, and ask them, is there anything that you need to know? All right. You may have gotten a message. You may have not gotten anything. It's all good. They're there whether you got a message or not. All right, now let's get into the main act, what we came here for actually, really. Take your hands and imagine that you're opening up a virtual screen in front of you, like an iPad or like a computer screen or like a TV screen. Just open that up and now calling your cat or dog or horse into that screen, the one that you want to connect with. Call them in by name, visualize them, and they're coming in now. And now ask them, have you been with me before in a prior lifetime? And I'm going to mute myself for a moment. Ask for any prior lifetimes they want to tell you about, they want to show you. All right. So you may or may not have gotten a message. Now ask your cat, dog, horse, your companion. Ask, is there any message, anything that they want you to know? Whatever message they want to give you. Is there anything you need to know right now? All right. So you got your answers, your messages, and now it's time to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for coming in, your cat companion, dog companion, horse companion, whoever came in. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the messages. Thank you for the work you do for me. Thank you for being with me in whatever shape or form. Thank you for coming back to me, and thank you for being your wonderful self. And they are thanking you, they are thanking us. They are saying, dear humans, we are so happy that you're here. You're so happy that we get to connect to you in this way. It is so special, and I'm channeling now, it is so special that you found this way to connect to us, and we want to encourage you to do this further, to continue this further. Please connect to us in whatever way seems fit for you. We are always here for you. The cats on this side and the cats on the other side. That was a message from all of them. The cat collective is sending you a collective hug now, and the cat collective is sending you this collective love. They're flooding us with love right now. They're flooding us with cat love for the humans and for the world and for this wonderful process that we're going through right now that is called Ascension and waking up. And they're saying thank you, thank you, thank you. And they want to conclude for now. So let's pull out, let's pull back. We're closing the connection. You can close your virtual screen, say thank you. You can hug your cat. And then take a deep breath and pull out, and then come back into your body slowly, slowly. Just feel yourself, your awareness coming back into your body, into the here and now, and feel your feet on the ground, and feel your arms and your legs and your fingers, and come back into the here and now. And we're concluding this, and this activation is also concluded now. And all the guidance that came in, and all the divine activations and everything, all the releasing, they're pulling out. Now they're saying, thank you for doing this process. You can come back to this process anytime. We thank you. We love you, the divine. All right, we're back. Wow, you can open your eyes. And please go to the chat now. I would love to go to the chat now and see what you are sharing. What did you get? Claudia was with me in Egypt as a protector. Now she's back to continue the mission. Beautiful. Beautiful. Please share with us what you got. What was the message? What did you feel? Did you feel the activations and the releasing of all that stuff? There was a lot of letting go that we did there, a lot of clearing that we did. My Yadi wants me to heal. She traveled and healed me in the past. She loves me. Sound of bells, beautiful. In the golden light, I saw two female lionesses vaporize and appear. Oh, wow. This was probably your soul family, Jennifer. I saw Samsoni as a spaniel with me in a castle setting. I was a little girl. She reminded me that we had issues with the mother. Even then, haha. Well, so I came back now, right? And help you with the mother issues. My two cats were here with me as horses when I was very young. Beautiful. Beautiful. Anyone else? There's so many participants here. Share. Please share what you received. I got a knowing that my sweet Charlie's here to help heal mother-daughter resentments. Wow, beautiful. I mean, powerful. Julie saying, I felt the connection, but I did not get a message. Julie, it's great you felt a connection. I would encourage you to do this again, either on your own or when you get the recording. Do this again. You will probably get a message. Practice, right? Practice makes you better. And in a setting where you're by yourself and not with so many people. You might have felt a lot of energies from people. So do this again when you're by yourself. You will probably get your message. Yvette's writing, Remy was with me in 2 previous lives. His message was that I am on the right track and I'm doing the best I can. He will be beside me to help me grow. Beautiful. Marie is writing, Ed was asking to connect with Charlie and instead saw an unhappy black cat. Oh, wow. Okay. I would encourage you or Ed, Marie, to do this again and connect with that unhappy black cat. Call that cat and ask what she wanted to say. So Kata is saying during the meditation, I got that she's here to help me on this path, to have the courage to be the psychic that I am, living out loud. Absolutely. Absolutely. So maybe 2 more shares and then we move on to the Q&A. How are we with the timing? 1 or 2 more shares maybe. I'm just checking the timing here. I can see it. Okay, we're good. All right. Okay. So, all right, somebody's typing. I can see. All right. So let's move on. Thank you for sharing. Let's move on. I would like to ask, and I would like to go into the chat. Just give me a word or 2 or a sentence, just a few shares. What is your biggest takeaway from so far from today? If you want to share that with us. Somebody wrote, your book is great fun to read as well. Thank you for sharing. So anybody wants to share what's the number one thing that you take away from today? What's the biggest takeaway? The concept of soul families. Wonderful. The intentionality of Samson coming to my life, walking into my back garden, a miracle. Exactly. Didn't I say they'll find you? They will find you. Meditation brought more peace energy. Beautiful. Actually taking time to connect with my cat. Beautiful. Love that, Michelle. So what else? 1 or 2 more shares. I have a little question, Claire. Okay, you can ask it just in the upcoming next section. Very curious about the ascension of all animals. Wonderful, wonderful feline wisdom. I love the ancient cats came through in the meditation. Jennifer shares, thank you. You confirmed some things I've been experiencing but couldn't explain. Beautiful, I love that, thank you. And Diana says, understanding of when we're grieving. Thank you. Yes, that wasn't even part of this, but it came in and they wanted me to share those messages about the grieving. All right. Marie says, confirmation of my cat is my guide. Beautiful. Beautiful.